Hello my friends, welcome all of you, almost 108,000 starseeds, light workers and wanderers to this beautiful session. Today I have channeled Metatron, Magnetic Consciousness, who has answered very interesting questions which I was curious about. Firstly, in this session, Metatron has answered about a video clip which was going all around the internet, wherein it showed the so-called angel of death coming to a certain location after there was a incident which happened, and I wanted to know if this was the truth, if what we are seeing is really the angel of death or not. That has been revealed in the session. And also I've asked about in what ways do angelic beings communicate with us, because many a times we may miss the communication from angelic beings who may be our guides. So I've asked about that, and they have revealed around 5 ways in which angelic beings communicate with us, which is really interesting. Also I've asked about new methods of shifting our consciousness and what is going to happen as we enter into a higher level of shift. The new paradigm of consciousness has also been explained, and also Metatron has also answered the query about what is the 5th sun. I have heard that this is a belief system of the Aztec civilization. So the true meaning of the 5th sun has been revealed in the session and what it truly signifies. And also before the session begins, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who participated in the 11/11 meditation we recently did on my Patreon. And also I have released some I want to say thank you to all of you who have joined on a Patreon where we have around 400 plus sessions which cannot be shared on YouTube, and you can access this over there. Also we do meditations and we have chats and all of the things which we can do. The link is on the description. As well as thank you to all of you for liking this video, because your like is a service to humanity and it will reach to others who need it at this time. That being said, enjoy the session, my friends.
I am Metatron, magnetic consciousness now in communication through these channels, vibratory systems at this time. I, Metatron Magnetic Services, magnetic consciousness, am connected through the divine consciousness of the universal light grid programmer for the basic purpose of advancement and the learning of the lessons which are found within the vibratory patterns of the sense of self. I, Metatron, must state that indeed, it is vitally important for all beings to recognize firstly that this communication is meant to provide an intrinsic focus and understanding within the vibratory patterns of the timeline, and to provide a greater sense of understanding and alignment in the nature of reality within this distortion of light. All entities who shall come in contact with our message today must understand discernment as an important facet which must be followed. Therefore, the first query which is presented today relates primarily with a so-called video as referred to by the people of the Earth planet, wherein the so-called angelic being concerned with the taking or escorting of the souls which have crossed over, also known as the angel of death, was spotted. We must indeed state that this is a real example of how angelic beings primarily perform their activities. Furthermore, I, Metatron, must state that this video is a clear example of the aspects that at this timeline Many of these angelic beings are showing themselves up to humanity. The transition to the new earth will allow for more love and light and transformative energies to allow for entities to sense the unseen realms, which provides for human entities to become capable of sensing angelic beings around the world. Metatron must state that there are angelic beings who are working all around the Earth planets, trying to assist humanity in their process of transition. Furthermore, the other query relates with how do the angelic social memory complexes communicate with human entities. Metatron must state that there are many methods. However, the most prevalent methods shall now be shared. The first one is many angelic beings communicate primarily through the states of dreaming, wherein many entities are able to recognize communication with angelic beings, which appear as beings of light. This primarily happens when the state of awareness in the dream becomes heightened and an entity is able to dislocate its spiritual complex from the physical bodily and mind complex, thereby becoming capable of accessing the unseen realms and enter into a astral realm wherein the visualization primarily permits for the sensing of a higher dimensional experience in the time. Therefore, the communication can also occur through the dreaming state as known by your people. Furthermore, the other angelic social memory complexes communicate through the feelings and physical sensations. Many a times, the angelic beings primarily are able to communicate through the dimension of feelings, which are the feelings which generate from the lower energy centers primarily, as all of the emotions mostly generate in these locations, which provide for the angelic social memory complexes to provide insights for an entity to understand or receive transmissions in the form of emotional states of consciousness. Furthermore, there may be another type of state which primarily occurs through a state of verbal communication, much like the state of channeling, wherein this instrument is communicating with our social memory complex and Metatron. Magnetic services, magnetic forces must state that this process is the most common way wherein many angelic entities interact with the human entities in the timeline to provide direct communication. For this communication to occur, however, a requisite of sensing the inner silence within the self is recommended at all times. Furthermore, the other way of communication primarily occurs through the use of symbolism and signs. Many a times, angelic social memory complexes are able to provide for symbols of synchronous numbers, such as repeating number patterns or other types of systemic communication, which may appear to be as experiencing the same events twice, which is known by your people in the language vibratory sound complex terms as deja vu. Such types of system of communication primarily provides for a enhanced level of understanding and a heightened level of communication system which is available. Furthermore, this primarily is also a sign that many a times the angelic beings are able to communicate and provide heightened states of awareness or the sense of deep connection between the entities with whom the angelic social memory complexes are communicating with. The other portion of the type of communication occurs through human and animal helpers, primarily angelic beings. can communicate by incarnating into physical bodily complexes for a short period of time in order to assist a particular entity, such as by incarnating in the form of an animal entity or in the form of a human mind-body-spirit complex, which provides for a heightened level of communication to occur and provides a greater pathway of allowing insights and awareness in the time. This is indeed a great way of providing assistance to human entities by incarnating or taking the form of animal or human entities for a short period of time. Furthermore, this is primarily done only with the approval of the Galactic Federation and the Council of Planets. The other query relates with what are the new pathways of awakening. Furthermore, we must state that at this time, the cycle of awakening which is happening on the Earth planets can be defined as a realization which can draw upon your inner self to recognize that a broader truth exists, or find yourself opening a spiritual chest, as known by your people, of greater magnitudes, which can allow for a higher level of perception to arise. Furthermore, many a times during this time, it is important to recognize and realize that the human consciousness primarily is shifting into levels which are of a higher level. However, has also attached itself to the lower levels of consciousness by attaching the sense of self with the outside illusion complex, with the sense of security and other distortions of fear and attachments have led and prevented many mind-body-spirit complexes to enter into higher levels. Furthermore, many a times during this pattern of entry from low level of consciousness to a higher level of consciousness requires a release of the old patterns, which primarily results in conflicts, wars, and cycles of releasing the old, which is currently happening at this time. And this release of consciousness of the old will bring forth the great shift and expansion into the new earth, fourth density vibration. Furthermore, many a times there are new pathways of awakening which will emerge during this timeline, which will provide the teachings and the portrayal of a understanding of boundless love, of the creative source of the one universal light grid programmer that is found within each of you. This is the type of love which surpasses measure and perpetually radiates light and love. Many a times, many entities may find it not being able to exclude the self in the realization that there is but unity amongst the level of various understanding in the timeline. Indeed, there are a courageous few entities upon the Earth planets who are able to understand and comprehend that the radiant light of the one universal light grid programmer is indeed what they have been anticipating. It is what many entities have been awaiting, and the reason for the presence of such an entity on the planetary sphere is to engage with this understanding and vibration of the one universal light grid programmer. This primarily signifies a breach in the veil which initiates the shift and a beckoning to explore higher into more profound levels of consciousness than known previously. And in the discourse to come, this cycle will delve into the facets which primarily will allow yourself to awaken to a grander truth than ever conveyed by any entity. The magnitude of the vibration of fear arises for the lack of revelation and lack of connection with the divine source of the one universal light grid programmer. Many a times, many of you were never informed about these aspects of the one universal light grid programmer, which is ever present within yourself, waiting for you to reach out and embrace the light. In this, we are here to share that the spiritual truth, which is awakening, will allow to experience the Creator's consciousness by many entities on the Earth planets who are ready to delve into a more enriching manner and provide spiritual manifestations into a elevated level of consciousness. Therefore, high Metatron magnetic forces, magnetic consciousness shall now answer the other query related with what is the fifth sun. As known by your people, we must firstly state that the concept of the multiple suns found upon your planetary sphere primarily are linked with the belief systems which can be seen in some of the so-called Mesoamerican systems, specifically the one known to your people in the language vibratory sound complex terms as the Aztec cosmology, wherein the five suns primarily describes the creation and the destruction of different worlds or ages as the Earth progresses through the various within the timeline of the mind space in the nature of reality. Furthermore, we must state that each sun represents a different level of the vibratory rhythm of the sun logos. Furthermore, Metatron must state that currently the sun's vibratory rhythms may be considered as that found in the fourth density level of consciousness, which supports the fourth density light and love of the creation of the Earth planets. And we must state that since the sun is now entering into a stage of ending of its own fourth cycle and entry into the fifth cycle, this rays of light which will allow for a full manifestation of the creation of a fourth density planet in the Earth region, as well as the sun, which will primarily be able to send light, which will emanate a fourth density vibratory rhythmic light. Furthermore, up to the level of fifth density the sun logos can now handle, which is the reason why it is signified by the understanding of the fifth sun, which means that the fifth vibratory level of the sun is being unlocked at this timeline, since the rays of sunlight carry information of light and love, which provides for all beings to accept the light, to vibrate in a certain level. This will provide for the support of the fifth density planetary spheres to the maximum level in your galactic system under the sun logos, and this is the meaning of the fifth sun. Therefore, I, Metatron magnetic consciousness, now leave you. Turn to the mountain of lights within yourself. Bye.
Hey friends, as per my understanding, the first thing I've noticed in the session is that it is indeed true that it was the angel of death, which was indeed captured in the video, which was really absolutely amazing. That's what Metatron said. And also Metatron said that angels can communicate through various means and methods. What I remember is they can communicate through dreams. They can also incarnate as human or animal helpers, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Also, Metatron said that angelic beings they sometimes communicate through signs and symbols, through synchronous numbers, repeated number patterns and symbolisms. They also communicate. And also Metatron stated in the session that so-called fifth sun information was revealed, which meant that our sun's vibratory rhythm is entering into the levels which it can handle up to fifth density planets in our solar system. So now the light emanating from the sun will, I believe, raise our frequency towards higher levels, and a new emergence of consciousness will happen. This is what I learned about the fifth sun, and I hope you also enjoyed the session. And if you want to know about your own soul's identity, your past lives, and any other information which you may want to know, you can send me an email. The link is on the description as well as on the screen. And also I want to say thank you to all of you who got the book version of my transcripts. If you want to read it in a book format, you can find it. The link is on the description. You can also read it for free as a PDF. The link is on the description as well. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this, and in the meantime, enjoy this session over here.